In today's tutorial, let's learn how to do the pebbled textured hat. It's available in 3 sizes, all the way from 2 to 4 years of age, just like so. You also have the 8 to 10 years of age, and then we have adult. The video title of today's video is indicating which pattern we'll be working with today. Welcome back to the Crochet Crowd as well as Yarnspirations.com. I'm your host Mikey. Today we're going to work on the 8 to 10 years old. It is a pebbled textured hat. It's a great little hat. You're going to need a size H 5mm crochet hook today and some Caron 1 pound yarn. Let's get started next. So let's review the pattern that we have. In all of the 3 sizes are available in one pattern, and if you're not familiar with reading patterns, this is just a brief overview on how to do so. So you're going to notice that it is fitting 2 to 4 years, 8 to 10, or adult, and you'll notice that there are different colors on the pattern. You can also see here, and it says that there's 1 ball for each one of the sizes, and then also if you're looking at the colors, 1 ball of Caron 1 pound can make 7 2 to 4 size, and it can make 5 8 to 10 years of age size, and then 4 adult size. So when we're going to read the pattern, the rounds 1 all the way to 6 are identical for all of the hats regardless of the size, and then once you get here, see how it does a color change? This is the instructions that we're going to be doing as we go along. So what's gonna happen here is that once we get the 6th round done, this is when the story changes. So the size that we're doing in this tutorial is the one that's listed as the video title. So if you're doing the 2 to 4 at this point, you'll go here and then 8 and then jump all the way to the end and then finish all the hat sizes right here up in the upper corner. So if you're doing the other sizes, it's 8 to 10 years and adult, you'll continue along with this. You'll notice that this says 7 round and that also says 7 round. So if you're getting all the way to 6 and you're doing a bigger size other than 2 to 4, then you just jump down here. Now also for the adults, it's 7, but you'll see here for adults you'll continue along and do even more. So that's how you get the different sizes of this pattern. So it's just telling you all the increments in order for getting this right size for the width of the growth. They all finish off the same way of just doing all the way down over here, and then it becomes really quite easy in order to master. So you can also do the pom-pom that's on there, or you can put a pre-made pom-pom. Bernat has really cool really huge actually pom-poms that are really quite nice. I use them on my own hats, or you can make them yourself and make them really quite customized for yourself. So let's continue with today's tutorial. And finally, before we get started, this is a prototype of the 2 to 4 size. I did it just to make sure I understood the pattern. You can see how nice this looks. Actually I love the texture on this hat. It does a great job with really hiding in those seam lines. You don't even see it. It's great and I really like it. So you can turn it inside out. You can see that there's ridges, and because of that it forms nice pockets of warm air when you're wearing it, and it makes it for a very warm hat. Also really quite an interesting one. So I just have to do a pom-pom or put a pre-made one on this one, but again this is for my donation box and this is what we're going for today. So let's start on the top of the hat and work our way down to through the crown and then all the way to the brim. We're gonna start off with a slip knot and using a 5mm size H crochet hook today. We're going to begin by chaining 2. So 1 and 2, and what we're going to do is in the first chain, the very first one, we're going to put in 6 single crochets into that first one. So 1, 2, and 3. And what I want you to do as you're running over the straggler, put it down on top so it gets caught underneath. So we have 4, 5, and 6. So now we have to slip stitch it to the beginning single crochet. So how do you know which one it is if you're confused? Just look back and count back. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 right there. So just count back to the 6th one and you'll get it perfect every time. Just yarn over and pull through and through, and that forms the top of your center of your hat. Let's move along to round number 2. Round number 2 is very unusual. I've never ever seen this done in a hat before, but you know what? New things, old dog, new tricks. Anything is possible. We're gonna chain up 3 right now. 1, 2, and 3, and in this pattern every time we chain up 3 in a round it counts as a double crochet. It's important to remember that because that'll be a factor later. So coming into the same stitch where you joined, and I want you to put in 2 more double crochets. Okay, so every one of the remaining 5 stitches that you have left are each gonna have 3 double crochets in there. So 1, 2, and 3. So I've never had a hat start off like this, so it's kind of neat. It's a new kind of concept for myself, at least. It may be old thing. So every stitch is gonna get 3 double crochets into it, and it'll expand that circle really quite quickly and really quite nicely as well. Okay, so 3 double crochets in each, and I'll see you back here in just a moment. So I'm coming up all the way back around, and I need to count how many groups of 3 I have. There should be a total of 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So you know that you're done. You're just gonna slip stitch it to the top of the beginning chain 3. It's important that you keep it. So you notice how open it was, and then I just closed it. It's kinda cool. Let's move along to round number 3. Round number 3, again, very easy. We're gonna chain up 1, and in the same join stitch we wanna put in 2 single crochets, and then the next 2 double crochets are going to be 1 single crochet each. So here's the repeat pattern for this whole entire round. The next one is gonna be 2 single crochets, and then the next 2 stitches are 1 single crochet each. Okay, so continue that same patterning going all the way around. So the next one is 2 into the same one, and then the next 2 are 1 single crochet each. Please do that all the way around. As you come up all the way around, the final 3 stitches, if you're keeping this pattern correct, you had 2 in the same and then 2 individual, that you'll end up with the right configuration at the end. So this one there's 2, and then the last 2 are gonna be 1 by themselves. Okay, so it keeps the pattern consistent, and then you just join it to the beginning single crochet that you started with to conclude that. Okay, so you really are looking for the consistency of the pattern. Let's move along to round number 4. Round number 4 is a little unusual, so just bear with me and just follow along. So you're gonna chain up 3, which counts as a double crochet, and we're gonna come into the very next stitch, okay, right here, not the same one that's in the join, but the very next one, and you're gonna put in 2 double crochets. So the repeat pattern on this particular round, and what makes it unusual, is that the next 2 are gonna be a double crochet each, and then it goes back down, and the next one is gonna be 2 double crochets into the same one. So 1 and 2. And why this is unusual for myself is that it's rare for me to ever see a crochet stand alone. Usually it's always a double that's right in the beginning. So in the end of this, what's gonna happen is that the stitch before will be 1 by itself, and then the stitch before that will be 2 into the same one. It just helps you give perspective and clarity for those that are concerned that it's not gonna work out. It does. Okay, so the repeat pattern on this one is 2 into the same one, and then the next 2 are by themselves for double crochets, and that is round number 4. So do that all the way around. I'll see you at the end. So coming up all the way around, the next one, there's 2 in the same one, and as I promised, and I know that I'm right because I've already done a prototype, the final stitch here is just 1 by itself in order to keep count, because the next one is 1 and then it goes back to 2. So I know that it's right. So I want to join this to the top at the beginning chain 3 to conclude that round. So that was round number 4. So now the story is going to change, and now we're starting to get the pebble look, and that's coming up in round number 5. In round number 5 we're gonna start getting that really fancy footwork, and it's abbreviation called DCFP. That's double crochet front post, so no big deal. And then the other one is CRDCFP and that's a cross double crochet front post. And so we're going to be doing this particular idea going all the way around. The words are bigger than really the reality of the work. So let's begin. We're gonna chain up 3, 1, 2, and 3, and coming down I want you to follow it down. Okay, skip this one and go to the next one, and we're gonna do a front post double crochet. So double crochet front post. So wrap the hook going around the post and pop it out the other side. Pull through 2 and 2. Okay, so now we're going to come back and we're gonna get the one that we jumped over. So we're gonna wrap the hook and come into the one before it, go around as a front post, pull through 2 and 2. So there you have a double crochet that has a cross in it. Okay, it's crossing over. So in this particular row, what we have to do, or round, we have to put a double crochet right in the space before the next post. So you see that these two are now the front posts, so I want to put it right in the space there, so a double crochet before I do another crossover. So let's do a crossover again. So we're gonna skip the first one, go to the second, wrap the hook going into the front post, pull through pull through 2 and 2 to finish that stitch. Now go to the one that you skipped. So wrap the hook, the one you skipped, pull through 2 and 2. That's done. So now the next double crochet is right in between the space before the next one, before you start your next crossover. Okay, so let's do this front post crossover again. So just cross over, so wrap the hook, go to the second one, pull through 2 and 2, go to the one you skipped, and then finish it off by going into the space before the next set that you're gonna cross over. So let's review that one more time. So crossing or yarning over, going to the one next over. Okay, so you skipped one, go to the one you just skipped, and now double crochet into the space before you cross over once again. Please do that all the way around. So I'm coming up all the way around and I want to finish this off. Now what I did wrong on the prototype is about what I'm about to show you not to do. So if you're doing this right, you're gonna have 2 final posts that are left and you can do your crossover. And what I did in the prototype is that after I finished the crossover is that I still put in another double crochet in the space, but think about it, this chaining of 3 counted as the double crochet, so I just have to join it after I get my last crossover done. Okay, so that is that one there. So I had actually put another one there, so my next round I was off by 1 stitch and I couldn't figure out for the life of me what was wrong, and now I figured it out actually last night. So let's move on to round number 6. Round number 6, very easy round. We're just gonna chain up 3 and it's just 1 double crochet in each of the stitches going all the way around. So we come to the very next stitch that's available to you and into every stitch of just 1 double crochet into every stitch going around. So we're not actually increasing at all. I think what we're doing in this particular point based on what I've done with the prototype is that we're giving the hat time to expand naturally. So just by putting in 1 double crochet into each, it allows it to do so. So let's finish off then round number 6. So I'll meet you back here in just a moment. So I'm coming up all the way back around. Remember that the final crossover was the final, because in the end of the last one, remember that that one that's supposed to be in the space is that chain 3. So just join it with the top of the beginning chain 3. So that concludes off to round number 6. So let's just quickly review and then let's move along. So in preparation of this tutorial, all of the 3 hats are identical now from rounds 1 through 6. Now the story is going to change as we convert it to the size that we're doing. The title of this video is indicating what size that we're gonna work on next. But this is exactly what we're doing, and so it's just really easy to make these. I'm actually quite enjoyed them. I actually made these into pot holders too. I like the concept of the pebbling look. Let's move along to the next part of this tutorial. We're now gonna start round number 7 for the 8 to 10 years old category. This round also is shared by the adult version as well. So let's begin. We're gonna chain 3, 1, 2 and 3, and it says to cross over double crochet front post twice and then 1 double crochet in between the next space. So it's kind of what we've done here, but the only difference is that we're changing the locations for when we do the double crochets in between the spaces. So we have to do this all the way to the end until we get to the final 8 stitches, and then we have to really pay attention to that. So let's begin. So we're just going to come straight down and look to the next one, and then just, sorry, that's gotta be a double crochet front post, and then go to the one that you skipped right there. Okay, and we want to do this a total of 2 times. So we come to the next one, next group, we're gonna skip over the first one and then come back to the one we skipped. So in this round here, every time you get 2 done, then there's a double crochet in the next space in between. Okay, so let's review this again. So here's your next set of 2. So you're gonna go over to the second one over and then cross over and get that first one, and then come to the next set and go to the second one over and then cross over, get that one you skipped, and then it's a double crochet into the next space area. So I want you to continue that until you get to the last 8 double crochets, and then when we get there I'm gonna show you what to do with that because it's slightly different at the end of this round. Now I have my last 8 stitches so I can see it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. So I actually finished, see here that I got the double crochet here and then I did 2. So I didn't finish to put a double crochet in the space here. So what we're going to do in the next final of these is that we're going to do 4 crossovers, but we need to put in an extra double crochet in between each one of those going forward. So we're just gonna cross over for the first one, and then we're gonna do a double crochet in the next space. Okay, so that was 1 of 4. We're gonna cross over. Okay, and then the next space is a double crochet. We're gonna cross over, and then another double crochet in the space, just like that, and then we're gonna cross over like that. Okay, and then to complete this off then all the way around is that we put in another double crochet in the space, and then we just join it to the top of the beginning chain 3 that we started with. So that's how you conclude that round number 7 for the 6 to 8 years old. Now we're gonna carry on now to round number 8, and it's gonna be carrying on as if it's round number 6. So we have to look all the way back up to the pattern, and in round number 6, if you remember, we chained 3 to start, and it's just 1 double crochet in each stitch going all the way around. Okay, so please do that. So we're gonna repeat number 6, and then we're gonna start on all sizes then on the next page then after this round. So you're just putting 1 double crochet in each stitch going all the way around. So I'm coming up all the way around, 1 double crochet into each, and then we're just going to join it with the top of the beginning chain 3. So this is what it looks like so far. So this is because of the last round we have a lot more stitches, so therefore this is a 8 to 10 years old child, so it will be bigger. Let's flip the page and I'll show you where we are on the pattern. So here's where we are. If you see the 6 to 8 years old, this is just a prototype of the pattern. It's been corrected since it is actually 8 to 10 years. So we just finished this instruction here of round 7 and 8, and now we flip the page because there's nothing left for that size, and we go to all sizes on page number 2, and what our goal is that we're going to repeat the pattern several times in order to get 6.5 inches from the top of the hat down to the end of where we need to be. So what we're going to do, I can tell you this off the top of my head, is that we repeated this instruction twice for the 2 to 4 years of age. I think, and I'm just guessing, I think we're gonna repeat this 3 times in order, so we'll go 1 2 1 2 1 2. So we'll do this instruction 3 times for this particular 8 to 10 years of age size. But we'll see when we get there, and I'll show you ways to measure it. So pull up the instructions now, and let's begin to do the next part. So going all sizes, what we want to do is that we want to start off these instructions, and we want to chain 3, and we're gonna cross over, double crochet front post, and we're going to then just do that all the way around. So we're not gonna add in any double crochets into any spaces at all. It's just strictly every 2 is just gonna be crossing over in order to make it work. Okay, so it's kind of a really neat look. It's what's giving it the pebble look. And so just cross over this entire round. Okay, so just skip 1, go to the second, and then come back to the one you skipped. Okay, so do that all the way around. This is round number 1 of all sizes. Coming up all the way around, I'm just continuing to do my crossovers, coming right to the end, and I'm just going to join it to the top of the beginning chain 3. So whenever we do the next round, then we're gonna carry on and start the next round. So the next round is just very easy, just 1 double crochet in each. So you chain up 3 and then 1 double crochet into each, going all the way around. So please do that, 1 double crochet into each. So what I want you to do is repeat last round plus this round as many times as it takes to get 6.5 inches. So fold it in half, and let's grab our tape measure and I'll show you. So you want a total of 6.5 inches for height. Okay, so you're just gonna keep going until you get to about there. So you've got a little bit of work ahead of you here, and please do that now, and just keep repeating rounds 1 and 2 of the edging in order to make that happen. So this round is doing the 1 double crochet each, and then the next row will be crossover, and then 1 double crochet, and then a crossover. Continue to do that until you get 6.5 inches, and we'll see you back here in just a moment. So now that we've gotten all the way around, what we're going to do is that I just took my measurement, and it is indeed 6.5 inches from top to bottom. Okay, so now we're gonna move on in this size and let's begin the next part. So we're gonna do the edging. There's 4 rounds of it and you'll see these instructions are in gold, okay, for this one. So we're gonna chain up 1 and 1 single crochet in the first one as the join, and then in the next 13 are gonna be by themselves. So they're single crochets 13 in a row. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 and 13, and then what you need to do, the next 2 are gonna be together. So insert in, pull through, go to the next one, insert, pull through. You have 3 loops on your hook, pull through all 3, and those 2 just became 1. So the repeat pattern for this one is the next 13 are 1 single crochets and then the next 2 are gonna be together just like I showed you. Please do that all the way around for round number 1 of the edging. So in coming up in the final instructions of this round, you'll notice that it says single crochet in the 2 last stitches. So my next 2 are 2 together, leaving 2 stitches left before the end, and so those are just 1 single crochet each as per the instruction. Okay, and then just join it to the beginning single crochet. So that concludes off round number 1. So let's move on to round number 2. Round 2, 3 and 4 are all identical to each other. So now we're gonna turn our work, yes, specifically turn our work. We're gonna chain 1 and this time we're gonna go in the back loops only. So if you're new to crochet, so there's 2 strands and those 2 together are called a stitch. But if you go in the first strand that's closest to you, that's a front loop, and if you go into the second strand, which is the other side furthest away from you, it's a back loop. So starting in the back loop only, so just 1 strand, you're going to single crochet yourself. Once you do the first one, it becomes really easy to be able to follow along. Okay, so just 1 strand. I think I got 2 in there by accident. Let me just finish that off properly. You know, things happen, right? So back loop only, and you're gonna go all the way around back loop only for single crochet on round number 2, and I'll see you back here and we'll move on to round number 3. Finalizing round number 2 is just back loop only single crochet, join it to the beginning single crochet, and then turn the work once again. Turn it around, and now this time it's exactly the same thing for round number 3. Chain up 1, back loop only. This will give it a ridge on the front of the hat that exists in the pattern if you're looking at it, and you're just back loop only single crochet again all the way around for round number 3. I'll meet you back here in just a moment. So we're just continuing all the way back around, and we just do the very last one and then we join to the top of the beginning single crochet. So the final round that we're going to do is round number 4. So we're gonna turn our work one last time. We're going to chain 1, and in the back loop again we are going to put in a single crochet. So back loop single crochet all the way around for the final revolution of this tutorial, and when I come back I'll show you how to finish off and then weave in your tails so that they never pop out. So I'm coming up all the way back around, and it is back loop single crochet into the final one, and then just to the join to the top of the beginning single crochet. So now let's fasten this off, and let's call this tutorial quits for today. So I'm cutting about 12 inches of a strand, and I'm just going to pull that through the final loop. So this is how you can weave in your ends so that you never have them popping out. So you can use this with any kind of crochet technique that you wish on any project. So just grab your darning needle, make sure it's nice and sharp. Obviously don't prick yourself with it. So the secret to the tail weaving in is that if you go underneath and just run it through some of the plies on the inside of the plies, run it through about 1 inch in one direction. Just pull it snug but not too crazy, and then go in the opposite direction for number 2, and then go back in the same the other direction again for number 3. So if you go in and out 3 times, you can safely cut this strand off without it ever falling out of your project, because it's impossible for the project to stretch in 3 different directions at one time in order for the tail to fall out. So you can cut it right down to the project, and then just take your strand that you had right in the very beginning and then just cut that down as well, And you can make a pom-pom. We have tutorials available how to make pom-poms here on our YouTube channel if you wish. But this is how you do this version, and this is the child size of 8 to 10 years. And when you compare it to the other one that is 2 to 4 years of age, you can see that there's a significant difference between the two. So until next time, I'm Mikey on behalf of the Crochet Crowd as well as Yarnspirations.